The unification of mind and machine is getting really kind of freaky. Um, and they're finding new ways of connecting your brain to AI, to a computer that aren't as invasive as BCIs or brain computer interfaces. You know, the chips that goes into people's heads. Well, they're getting a little bit more advanced when it comes to this. And I think we need to be aware. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Zach, the Wretched Watchman. I'm bringing you a little bit of news when it comes to the technology side of things. And yeah, we've got a lot going on here. Now, if you've been living under a rock, welcome to 2024. Things have gotten insane. Yeah, you better get to Jesus real quick because you don't want to miss that ride out of here before things get really, really bad. But when it comes to technology, we're seeing the full court press. I mean, that steam engine is pumping to get people connected to AI, people to connected to technology, to computers, to read minds, and to get people plugged in to the matrix, so to say. And we've seen a lot when it comes to BCIs, brain computer interfaces. We've seen things, you know, you go back to 2004 when BlackRock Neurotech started putting in brain chips into people. Then you got Synchron that followed up in the early 2020s with theirs. And then the recent news about Elon Musk and Neuralink plugging his in. But you can even go back further, decades, honestly, to DARPA, because DARPA's been working on these things for a long time. And whether it's getting people into robots, people controlling robots with controllers, or people controlling robots with their minds, they've been working on it all. And one of the things that they're trying to do is try and create ways that are less invasive to connect a human brain to an artificial one. And none other than Mark Zuckerberg has come out with some latest technology when it comes to it. And it's a wristband which will allow you to just use your fingers to control a computer. So much so that you don't even need to look at the screen. You can just type with your finger if you think it. I kid you not. So if we take a look, we'll see here. It says Meta's experimental neural wristband controller will be a real product that lets you type just by thinking because Zuck doesn't want a chip that you jack into your brain. So again, they are coming up with more technology to allow people to control computers where it's not as invasive as actually getting surgery and putting it into the brain. If you can think it and you can wiggle your fingers, you'll be able to work with a computer. Now, if we read a little bit on this, it explains it as it's a wristband that tracks hand and finger movements by detecting the neural electrical signals passing through the nerves in your arm using an entirely non-invasive technique called electromyography. Sounds more friendly, yes, and yet no. So basically, what they're saying on this is it's you have a nervous system with neural networks that connect to all of your muscles and everything. So that's why if I'm standing here and I think, okay, move my finger, I'll be able to move my fingers because my brain is sending that neural signal to the muscles in this finger. And so I'm moving it. Well, they're trying to apply that same idea, that same structure to technology. So if you think it's like a muscle that's attached and it will happen on the computer. I hope that makes sense. So rather than having something in your brain attached to your brain, this is something that reads the neural sensors going across your arm at this point. So it says Meta showed off the device as an experimental prototype back in 2021. Now, Meta CEO Zuckerberg says the company is working on bringing it to the market. We've been working on this for a while. It's not a one-year project, but we're quite a few years into it, and we're close to having something, to having a product in the next few years. Zuckerberg revealed in an interview on the Morning Brew Daily. And it goes on to say, there's all this extra signal that your brain can send that's not being currently used or not currently being used to move your fingers. And in the future, you will essentially be able to type or control something by thinking about how you want to move your hand. So again, this is about getting AI attached to a brain, a human brain, and making them one. They want to unite them as one. Now, there's many different things for this, many different reasons why they would want to do it, whether it's to have full tracking, controlling of people, maybe jacking them into a virtual world. So they're just living in a virtual world. We've heard things about the metaverse and all that stuff. And ultimately, it goes back to the Tower of Babel when it comes to becoming gods. They want to use technology in order to advance into Christ consciousness or becoming gods at that point. Again, prophecy is a pattern, and we're seeing the same patterns of what happened back then happening now with trying to get that stuff done. And there's many different things that they would want to use this for. We don't have time to go over all of them because there's just so much. But they do have a little video of showing what it's like when it comes to virtual reality, as well as when it comes to typing on a computer. So check this out. Hmm. This isn't just some, virtual thing, like people wearing goggles and they're kind of doing the games and stuff like that. This is, as the video said, an extension of the human, making computers an extension. So I actually took a screenshot of that, and it says, and he was just typing it. It says neural, typing it with just his brain there. It says neural interfaces expand human agency, creating a world in which computers are natural extensions of thought and movement. This is, I hope people understand what's going on with this. When you start attaching humans to machines like this, and machines are being ever more possessed by AI, and I use the words possessed particularly in this scenario, specifically for this, we're trying to attach humans to a supernatural type of system. Now, I know a lot of people like to look at AI and whatnot as, it's just another piece of software connected to some machines and stuff like that. But if you dig into AI, how it works, it is a thinking thing. It allows itself to think on its own. And right now, yeah, it needs to be fed information in order to calculate things. But again, we're looking at something that's thinking on its own. This is a supernatural system that can certainly be possessed by demons. It's not some inanimate object like a tree or just a computer itself, even if it didn't have AI, where it's just, machine parts and whatnot. This thing is able to think. And so therefore it can be possessed. And when you start attaching people to this, that it eventually is going to be connected to a quantum network, which that in itself is supernatural. It breaks the laws of physics, and it starts getting into data that can go through time. Yes, I'm talking about time travel. You're talking about two different systems that they want to plug into a human mind. This stuff isn't cool like a lot of people think. Like most of the world out there thinks this is cool. This is awesome. This is just something that we can have fun with and we can advance with. But we kind of live in this protected bubble where we don't necessarily see that with the people that we interact with, but society thinks this is cool. This isn't cool. And I've warned about this in the past, and I'll warn about it now. When it comes to this type of technology, or even when it comes to things involving AI, I don't think we should be messing with it. Even to just test things out, I don't think we should be messing with it. I think we should avoid it as much as possible. Now, when it comes to computing, when it comes to things like our phones and stuff like that, We can't necessarily avoid it because AI is now entrapped in all of that. It's just everywhere. Like my computer now all of a sudden has the Microsoft Copilot on there. I didn't approve them to download it on. They just added it. I can choose not to use it, even though I know in some things that I do AI is being used, but I'm not going to voluntarily choose to do it because I don't think there's any benefit to it whatsoever. And when it comes to this type of technology, I don't think we should be dabbling in it. I don't think we should be messing with it. I really don't. This is just more of a progression where it's less invasive technology that is hooking up a human brain to a computer. And it's only going to get worse from here. Oh, if you don't have the Lord Jesus, I strongly urge you to seek him out. You're not going to want to be here when this stuff gets, well, supernatural. I'll say that much. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you right here. Just warn people of what's coming. There are a lot of lost souls that need Jesus. And when you warn them, it opens up the opportunity to sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. The one and only thing people need. None of this junk. Just Jesus. Just give me Jesus. All right, I'm going to leave you guys right here. You guys have a great one. Peace out. Maranatha.